Hey everyone, it's TK here, TK here with another Megalo Box 2 Nomad episode review. This is episode 10. Yes, I didn't do one for last week because the episode had too much of business type stuff on it and I didn't want to talk about it. But anyways, this episode here, we had a little bit more of that on here, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm just getting into the main characters, the main cast. So, Lou, he's still in the hospital recovering. He's talking with Joe because last week there was the challenge put out. Mac is challenging Joe to a boxing match, and Lou was talking with Joe. Joe says he don't really want to do it. He's unsure. He's encouraging him. He said, hey, you should do it. And then Lou kind of gave Joe, I guess, some advice or maybe like just his thoughts. He was like, because this pretty much like he knew that this Mac time thing is something that a phenomenon that they've been calling Mac time. When Mac is in trouble, he miraculously makes a comeback and wins a fight. That's what happened with the fight against Lou, who was undefeated at that point in the show. He was like, I knew Mac time was coming, but I didn't know how to avoid it or stop it. And I guess he feels anger or frustrated, but I guess we saw him ball up his hand. But Mac actually came to pay his condolences or wish him a recovery. His kid drew some art for him, a picture of him, and they made some origami little figures for Lou. And Mac spoke to Joe a little bit. Joe was wondering why he wanted to fight him. And Mac was like, you always been a champion to me. And now I got another chance to fight because of this. I don't know the name of the I don't know the name of the product he's using, but the Roscoe gear stuff that he's using that allow him to box again. He's like, he has a second chance, and now he's able to have he able to make his son see what he used to do before he had to retire back then. And that was pretty much it. They spoke about Yuri and Joe spoke, and Lou and Yuri spoke too in the hospital. Yuri is like, no, not Lou. Yuri. Lou was like, don't feel sorry, don't feel bad for me. He said, you're not the one that chose me. I'm the one that chose you back in the day, like when you first met Yuri. Because you don't want Yuri to feel responsible for the position he's in right now. And pretty much you was kind of like telling or like trying to encourage Yuri to support Joe in fighting Mac. If he decides to fight Mac, he's telling him like you should encourage him, you should be there by his side, pretty much. And like towards the end of the episode, we got Sachiko. He's at the boxing club that he boxes at. He's telling the promoter he wants more fights. The promoter's asking why. He's like, because I need the money, you know that. And he's like, tell me how much money you need, and I'll give it to you. But you're gonna be doing fixed fights for the rest of your life. That's happening. Joe and I don't know the guy's name, but Sachiko knows him, and they pretty much was together when they had their own little orphanage boxing gym. And Joe was like, I'm going to fight Mac. He told Sachiko that while he was in the ring. And the manager guy that was with Joe, he was like, I never asked you why you asked me to teach you how to box. He said, I guess I was hoping it was going to help you cope with things, like cope with Pops dying back then after the Megalo box aftermath, you know. And my bad if you hear that noise. That's my notifications. And he thought it was just going to help him cope with losing Pops, and he thinks that he's fighting just to kind of chase after Joe's boxing career. And Joe's pretty much like, I want you to stop boxing. And pretty much he's like, let's box right now. if I win, you stop boxing for good and be by my side in this fight with Mac. Because Joe has decided to fight Mac now. And he said, if you win, I'll leave town forever and never come back. So they get the boxing. Of course, you already know what's happening. Joe is dominating the fight. Sachiko really not landing any blows. He's just getting torn up, getting body shots, getting punched in the face. And Joe pretty much ends up putting Sachiko out his misery. Hit him with a final maybe gut punch. We didn't see exactly what he hit him at, but if you finish him off, it seems like things are patched up. Sachiko was crying while he was in Joe's arms. He was asking him why did he leave. And we had like flashbacks to the episode, but I'm not gonna get into that. And like as things seem to be patched up, Sachiko's going to get dressed. Joe and the trainer guys standing by the ring. Joe has like this headache pain or head pain. He collapsed to the ground. The trainer guy that was with Joe trying to help him up or trying to figure out what's going on. Sachiko turns around in shock. We got the credits. These stuff. And that's the episode. And overall, I think it was a good episode. We didn't get a lot of that Roscoe company business briefings, conference stuff. I didn't want to see none of that. But it was a pretty good episode overall. Go check it out. Get to see some flashbacks. Get a little bit more truth to why Joe really was boxing those years back when Pops was sick. And things of that nature here. But I think it was a pretty solid episode. I'm TK, TK_. Thanks for tuning in. Look out for my Eden's Zero anime episode review, and I'll talk to you guys later.